In this demonstration, we're going to show you how to create a EC2 instance with user data. First, click the Start Lab button. Once the lab is started, click the AWS button to open the AWS console. In the AWS console, click the Services menu, EC2. In the EC2 dashboard, click the Launch Instance button, Launch Instance. For the EMI option, select the Amazon Linux 2 EMI and click Select. For the instance type, select the default option T2 Micro free tier eligible and then click Configure Instance Detail button. In the Instance Detail screen, leave all the default configurations. Make sure the Auto-Assign Public IP is selected to use subnet settings enable. Scroll down to the Advanced Details section, and in the User Data section, type the following commands.
User data scripts always run as the root user on the EC2 instance operating system, and they run only when the instance is launched. If you later stop the instance and start the instance again, or reboot the instance, the user data script will not run a second time.
Let's have a look in this script. The first line indicates the script should be run by a bash shell. Because you are launching an instance from Linux EMI, this is appropriate. For a Microsoft Windows instance, the user data script should be written in a format that's compatible with Command Prompt or Windows PowerShell. The second line invokes the YAM utility, which is commonly used by many Linux distributions, such as Amazon Linux, CentOS, and Red Hat Linux, in order to retrieve software from an online repository and install it. The command tells YAM to update all installed packages to the latest version that are known on the software repository that's configured to access. Line 3, the script indicates that Apache HTTP server should be installed. The YAM utility will find the HTTP software in an online repository, download it, and install it. Line 4 tells the Linux operating system to start the HTTPD services in an OS boot time. And line 5 tells the Linux operating system to start the HTTPD service. And finally, line 6 creates a file named index.html in the directory /var/www/html directory, which is the default content directory used by the installation Apache installation. And now click Review and Launch. In the Launch Settings screen, click the Launch button. And make sure in the pop-up screen you select I acknowledge that I have access to the selected private key file. And then click Launch Instance. Click the button View Instance, and here we can see our instance is being launched. The instance state is pending. So while the instance is being launched, let's have a look in the security groups. Go to the description section, security groups, and click the security group name Launch Wizard 1. In the security group screen, go to the tab Inbound Rules. Here we can see the SSH protocol has been added to allow any source to connect to this instance. Click Edit Inbound Rules to add a new rule. Let's add a new rule. Click the Add Rule button and select HTTP. In the source, select Anywhere, and then save the rules. Now our security group has been configured to accept HTTP connection from any IP address. Now click the Instance menu. In the description section, go to the private IP address and copy this IP address. And now let's try to connect to this instance using SSH. For that, go back to our tab, the Sandbox environment, open the terminal window, and then type the command. That's the name of the private key. And paste the IP address. And hit enter. Type yes to accept the fingerprint. And now we are connected to our Amazon Linux 2 EC2 instance. Let's have a look in the status for our HTTPD server. So let's type systemctl status. And here we can see the Apache server is active and running. Let's have a look in our HTML file. And here we can see our HTML file has been created. So now let's open a new tab and type the IP address. And here we can see our web server is responding with hello world from our web server. When you finish the lab, click End Lab button. And that's the end of this presentation.